Hello guys, this is a new segment for Vishwanath Architects where we are trying to understand the customer's pulse and know about their journey in the process of building their dream homes or whichever project they are getting into. So right now we are in a beautiful home of our beloved senior Chaitanya, who has given us the opportunity to design and actually give our insights and our inputs into his beautiful home. So firstly, I'd like to thank for the opportunity of given to us.
I'm honored, yeah.
So this is a quick segment where we try to understand what was your process like. So to begin with, we wanted to understand what made you decide to build your dream house with your family, for your family.
Got it. So my father is a government employee, and we have been living in the government quarters like for most of my life, what I remember. And my father has been living in that quarter or in a very small town for about 30-35 years. So then my father is getting retired in the next 2-3 years. So we plan to start a house. Once we started, we were thinking initially to have a very small, like say a 2-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom flat or something. But then what instigated us was we started thinking, okay, what if I come from, like I stay in Bangalore, what if I come from Bangalore, where do I stay? What if my sister comes who stays in the US to India, where does she stay? And we also wanted to have a place we can all celebrate together. Like let's say when we all come home, we have a niece, we have a small family, right? So we wanted to all have a place where we can all celebrate together. We should always be able to spend time. And we wanted a house which is welcoming. We wanted something where people would want to come and they don't want to leave. And it should always be self-welcoming. So that's the initial vision where we wanted to start the house. Yeah.
Great. So it's definitely a beautiful vision that you had for your family, because obviously coming from a point where you were living in a government quarters, it's not very easy to take that big step to purchase a land and actually build a 6,500 or 7,000 square foot of house for yourself. So I really appreciate for the
Thank you.
effort. Now, in this journey, at what point did you think about Vishwanath Architects, or what made you actually choose us?
So once I started thinking I need to build a house, this is a really small town. I talked to a bunch of architect firms in here, but I didn't really enjoy the conversations with them. Then I was being in Bangalore, I was trying to explore in there, and I was talking to my friends as well. And you being my junior, I remembered, okay, we have a Vishwanath Architects as an option. And I had the conversation with you initially. And the first conversation, you asked me a lot of whats. Like, what do you want? What are you thinking about? What do you really want to be in your house? What you think should be in your house? So those kinds of questions actually made me think more than what I was actually introduced into. So that really helped me. Like that was like, okay, this guy is someone who can actually make me think. This guy is someone who can actually make me do things. So that's where I was like, this is all good. And the second part, I also was interested in your previous project, and I saw them and they were all really beautiful. And I really liked the design style of what you guys have been through. And I was like, let's give it a shot. Let's actually try it. So that's basically the point. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, so really grateful that you gave us an opportunity, right? And thank you so much for the amount of time you've invested in understanding us and the journey of planning to be like. So, what was the whole planning process was like for you? What was the things which made it stand out for you, so that you can understand what is the vision or what is the viewpoint you want to have for your house?
So, post the initial discussions, we again had like a couple of discussions where we initially talked about what do we want in the house. And I clearly remember giving a small write out on, okay, I have so many people in my house, and I have so many I wanted so many spaces, like what we are sitting here, a stairs, a good sitting in the stairs, some sitting in the rooms, like the number of rooms, the home theater plan. So I remember talking about these things. So the initial plan was to identify the spaces across the house and what all we need, and then we also wanted to align them. So that's basically the initial step where we actually took, and from there we started building one-on-one, right? So once we started having this particular part, then we started aligning. Again, Vastu is also one of the things that we were supposed to be considering. So once we had the spaces that we want, then I think the whole team helped us align where everything goes and sit and how they should be, seamlessly be continued within the house. Yeah.
Understood. So, was the designing process like easy enough for you to get back to us with your viewpoints and everything?
Yeah, I would say that is absolutely the right approach for anyone who is starting a new house, because the first design pattern, like the style that you have taken, is something I really like, because we didn't even go through the AutoCAD or anything. It was all in a mood board. So if I'm not wrong, what we initially did, you gave us was a mood board. You gave different sets of designs, like one set of, let's say, completely woodish finish, one set of a lot of poppy color finish, one set of different style, like Italian style designs. Then we, like that, you tried to give me and you asked me what are the things I liked out of everything. And post we chose what we actually liked, that's why you try to understand our tone. You try to understand what our taste is, what we wanted in our house. After that we started doing something on top of it, which actually helped us not to have too much of to and fro. We were able to get it easily. Like you understood what we want, and we were able to also tell you without being able to express it, because design is not something we can easily express. It is a lot of self answers that you generally have. Like how would you able to present this is the whole point. So those kinds of things really helped. And over a period, every time the presentation was really nice. I mean, you always gave me a presentation, proper presentation, a PDF kind of a thing, where I used to say yes, no to page by page, and then the feedback is always taken, and then I used to get an updated one. I was very happy with that whole approach.
Thank you, sir. Because that was a clear understanding we have gained through the process of this architecture firm, right? So we have founded this company in 2020, and it's been 5 years now. We have always tried to reinvent ourselves in the way we can understand the customers, we can serve the customers in a better value. So this mood board concept entirely came out so that you as a customer can clearly understand what you actually want. Because most of the people think they actually know what they want, but as soon as they see a lot of options on Instagram, Pinterest or whatever, their mind starts getting going here and there and trying to look at all the options. So
I think your experience with dealing with the previous customers really showed up in there.
That made us serve you in a better way.
I think you learned from your mistakes.
Yes, exactly. So going forward, then after taking our services for architectural design, what was the process of, or what was the journey like to build the entire house and actually go through the part of execution?
Yeah, so the whole during the civil work, I think Vishwanath Architects, your team has been with me for throughout the period, throughout the civil work, because there was a structural engineer, there was an architect who was sitting with me, and there were a few other people who were also in and out helping out with the working drawings, with the material that what we wanted to buy, even with the estimation. So I think I got estimations for all the civil work, like iron, labor, even the cement, everything. So that gave me a good estimation on how much budget I am going through, and that also gave me a limit on where I should tap my budget. So over a period, there were like numerous discussions with the people, and it was all great. And of course, you understand labor, so it was a little hectic while day in day out. But with the help of the working designs and the examples that I can show, and I clearly remember one of the things that I would really wanted to explain is the staircase that you're seeing here. So our person who is supposed to make the staircase is completely not sure how to get the corners because of the design that it was. And the engineer asked for a very specific design considering the load bearing. It's not about the structure, it's about according to the design, the whole weight is based on the walls and the pillars. So the staircase has to sit on the walls and the pillars to basically maintain. And our labor was not really skilled enough to do it. But yeah, again the team came in, they tried to explain him, they gave him samples, paper drawings, everything happened, and then we were able to make it. So there are a lot of cases that happened in this flow, and I'm really happy about how that civil work has really showed up. Yeah.
Because I think there are a lot of different types of vendor, like labor you have to deal with, the material, the labor and all of that, right? It gets a really tricky position for you who's not from a civil background to understand how to execute it. But I think you've done a great job. As we can see, we are in the final clearance stage of this particular villa. They have their housewarming ceremony also within 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Right? So we are in the final stages of actually cleaning up and actually getting few minor touches here and there, including the interiors.
Yes.
So this civil structure part is a challenge number one.
Yeah.
How was the challenge number 2? That
Yeah.
is interior design.
Interior, I think the challenge started right from the design itself because there were so many elements that were packed in while starting the construction. Right, you can see right within the space that you can see there are like mandua, there is pillars, there is background, there is staircase. So there are a lot of elements that are already packed in. If I'm not wrong, we took roughly 3.5 months to arrive to a position with this thing because there was a lot of to and fro because we had few designs and yeah, I'm really happy that you're able to take in all the feedback. Every day I was like, Rahul, I need some changes. Like, okay, you never were like, yeah, we are done. No, we'll just do this. I initially thought because a lot of other firms that I spoke, right, all of them were like, sir, we make 3 or 4 schedules, not more than that. For every other new schedule, I think they were saying, we'll have to charge, we'll have to give something. But I think I never heard such something like that from you. Like how many ever changes you want, you keep like we want the best that you want to like it from here. That is something that really helped us, and we also went full board. We tried making every possible change. So that's one part of the story. The second part of the story is the complete BOQ. So the BOQ that you came up with is like I don't know how many pages it was, and it was really hard for me to go through. And at that point, I was like, okay, let me have some others help to actually manage it. And I think you also suggested another firm called Studio Unbound. And the people from there, especially Uday, has been really helpful. So I gave a lot of carpentry work to the Studio Unbound firm, and Uday basically managed everything for me in there. So right from the material, labor, managing with the time, even the handles, installations, fittings, I think he did an amazing work while getting that whole setup done, and I'm really happy about how that turned out. And even he helped me with a lot of other elements in the house. Like even I think he came to the site in a little early time, not even on the interior, and he helped me a lot of places like in organizing or in purchasing and all these things. And that what actually helped us in the execution part was the BOQ gave us a blueprint on what we wanted. And the material selection, so if I'm not wrong, even the selection was there, even the material type, the company codes, everything was there. So we were able to easily visit the vendors, find the vendors, show the exact option, get the option and move forward. So yeah, that in the end, in the finishings, it is a little tricky, but overall, it was really a very satisfying journey because I can see how it has been turning out, and like you said, people have been appreciating a lot about the effort as well. So I'm really happy about how it is.
Genuinely, right? So a lot of people have a lot of money, and they intend to spend a lot of money as well. But I've seen and visited so many houses where we work with them, or some other people have worked with them, and we have visited their house. They tell us numbers like we have invested 3 crores on the interiors or 4 crores, whatever. But I should say within the budget you had and what kind of value you've received, purely based on your effort. Because I don't want to take this as my win, because I definitely think 100%.
No, I think it's a combination.
It's a combination, but I should say that the customer needs to have that patience to actually put in the thought and actually executing it as well. The persuasiveness is what stands out here, because so many people just give up and be like, okay, let's just go with a easier alternative or cheaper alternative wherever. But I can see that you have put your heart, blood and soul into all of the selection process and execution.
The reason why I wanted to call it a combination is, see, I have spent a lot of effort, like you said. I spent a lot of effort in selection, in the designing process. Every material I've been there. I've been there almost for every material purchase. I've been there every time a labor comes, works here. I work in Bangalore. I come every week. I try to sit with the labor. I try to work with them. I try doing all of these things. But all of this is necessary. There are a lot of other elements which don't show up. Like there was a really hard budget constraint I had. And the design, while the designing process was happening, I was able to see, okay, with this designing process, this is the budget I'll stick to. And I was able to do, like, of course, 10%, 15% deviation happens everywhere. So I was able to get an idea, okay, I can't go beyond this. So there are hundreds of options. So I should have a ceiling. So the designing process and the BOQ materials that I received and the general conversations on what is the other opportunity, other possibilities, those all helped in. So those are the items that I got pitched in, which helped me make my decisions right and spend my time, in the right place rather than just going around the market and just messing up.
That really helps actually.
Yeah.
So really great insight on all of the processes,
Sure.
right? Because it actually feels very refreshing to understand your viewpoint rather than thinking in our own box. Now, coming to this unique Mandua theme which you have selected for your house, how did you come up with this and what was the inspiration behind it?
So I wanted a really traditional house. That's basically one of the first thoughts. When I was reading about it, I was looking, and every movies, like in all the Telugu movies that we have been watching, right? There are a lot of references on how this generally happens. So then I started researching about what exactly courtyard, basically courtyard or mandua basically means. It's all about air ventilation and sunlight. So, and I wanted that to be like completely natural. So I don't want artificial lights to be like too many artificial lights. Like you can see, I think it is around 10:30 right now, and you can see the house is well lit. There is not even a single light like switched on right now. So that's the kind of atmosphere I wanted. And this is the centerpiece that I really like. And if you see like where we are sitting, I was talking about the spaces where I really wanted everybody to sit and enjoy, right? I think this is our evening coffee time where we are going to start using it for our coffee space. And I think our niece was really happy when she saw about it, because so we also have an option to fill in this particular mandwa so she can really enjoy the space. So considering all the factors about, and I also wanted a mix of a latest, not completely go traditional where it becomes a little unmanageable with the current conditions. So that's why we have a glass on top. So yeah, it's all from the vision where we have been seeing, like been growing up, seeing a lot of these things. Yeah.
I'm really glad that you actually stuck with this kind of thing, because a lot of people today, it's all about maximizing the amount of space we have,
Right.
bigger bedroom size, bigger living room and all of that. But here you're thinking about the whole family where you can have a communal space.
Right.
You can actually chill in, or you can enjoy your
That's the idea.
friendly space. So while this is an amazing idea, what was the biggest task or challenge you faced to actually get this idea into reality in the entire house, right?
Yeah, I think over a period I have seen a lot of hardships, these are parts and part in the whole process, but there are few things I would really want to highlight. So one of the biggest problem was, of course, we designed everything according to the measurement, dimensions and everything, but not everything on the paper shows up exactly on the site. So there are a few problems if you ask me, like for example, we had a closet near our washroom area, and when in the design it felt like it will fit in, but by the time when it came into the action, the space was really small, where the interior persons ended up saying, okay, we can't really fit in a wardrobe in there, it becomes really hard. So that's because, see, the thing that we have seen in the interior, I mean, they were mostly matching with the space in there. But when it comes to the reality, there are a lot of nitpicks that really stop you in doing few things. Like for example, that's one of the case. So there are few other problems where in the kitchen design, we had all the doors, windows, everything where we wanted it in the right place. But by the time it started getting into the life, there are few windows which can't really work because of the position they were in. Though they were considered in the making, the material was not available in the way that we wanted to do. Like for example, if you wanted to do a 180 opening door, there is not a available material which can support that kind of door frame in there.
The hardware.
Yes, the kind of hardware in there. So yeah, there are few. These are one of the hard problems that we had to solve in the site while execution. Yes. Because it's not really something that can be solved in an office or in somewhere. That's on the execution part of it. There are few parts even with the labor as well. For example, you see the mandua that you sit in here, right? So if you see the pattern in here, though we had the exact pattern as per the design, but the point is the civil labor won't be able to fit in the exact measurement. Let's say we give 18 inches. There is always a 2 mm, 3 mm difference. So while the finishing work happens, those differences show up a lot. You can't really manage them. So those are the kinds of problems which messes up the job. Like for example, we try to manage a lot in here, but let's say if we are not able to mix in the 2 mm, 3 mm, it really messes up the whole floor. So yeah, these are the kinds of things you only see when you are at the execution. You won't be able to see in the white space. It always comes up when you are starting to execute, you are starting to do something, you'll be starting to see that. So this floor that you see here, right? So when the initial material that was coming, like even in the designs, everything, we thought this will go very well and we'll be able to do it. But then when the labor came, they said we won't be able to work with this kind of material. Its material is very soft. We won't be able to set it up. It took a lot of convincing from the architect side, from me to the labor that yes, this is possible. You should be doing. Yeah, there are, like as I said, there are like numerous problems that keep coming in. It's definitely a happy ride in the end, but the journey is going to be a little stressful. That is for sure. It won't be like a very fairy one where you say, oh, I called the labor, they'll be doing it. It's not that straightforward, but it has its merits. Yeah, only if you stick to it, you'll be able to get an output like that.
That's the output we are able to see here.
Yes.
So once we actually ornament it with a lot of plants and seating spaces in between, you'll really see the beauty behind this design. I'm sure there's a lot of plantation that's supposed to come into this house because we want it to be feeling really nature friendly or coexist with nature.
Right.
Along with the furniture that needs to be set up within probably a month, we'll be looking at the final results.
Yes, definitely.
So moving on to the next question. This entire process, what were the key takeaways you had in this entire execution of your house?
Yeah, I think for someone who is going to start fresh in my side, one thing is I'm going to suggest Vishwanath Architects. The primary reason is basically the process that you have followed in the journey. Like, because it made me think, it made me spend efforts, and the key takeaway is spend more time before you start anything. Spend more time in the design, spend more time in choosing the material, spend more time in what you actually want. So the moment you start the execution, there are hundreds of things that are going to pour. Only if you have a full clarity on, okay, this is exactly what I want, you will be messed up in the ocean of ideas that are possible in the market. I don't think anybody should go in that direction because it only just like messes up. It's like bringing the best pieces of every movie and splitting it to one movie. It won't really look good because you always need to have a highs and lows.
Yes.
You should really think through before actually starting anything.
That's really well put up actually. The example is perfect, I should say. Because there can be so many amazing elements, but you can't keep all of them in a single room and actually make the look coming out.
Like for example, in this space, we want the pillars and the stairs to be highlighted.
Yes.
Let's say there are so many designs to highlight a wall. There are so many designs to highlight a railing. Let's say I get the best of both. It doesn't work out. But in an execution, it's very tempted to do all of those things because you're spending money, you're seeing how it is turning out, you want it to be the best.
Yes.
Because that is always a very typical mentality. So that's where you should always spend time in design. You should spend time in what you want. You should spend time in choosing the material before you are starting anything. That's one. And the second thing is make sure you have enough time. Make sure you have enough time to design, enough time to actually work. Because the moment you start rushing up things, the finishing and the outputs are going to go out. Because you can't really blame anyone. It is what it is. So that's where you should basically make sure you have enough time and you have enough labor, you have enough money to actually start doing things. Or slow it down a little bit if you are not really sure about it. But make sure you spend enough efforts from your side in what you want. You should never feel, oh, that day if I were spent like another 1 day or 2 day or another X amount or Y amount, it would have been really beautiful. We should not have those regrets. For a house which is going to stay for another 50-60 years of my life, I don't want to have those regrets. So that's where something I would really say, make time. Make time, make space, make your mind space, make sure that you are thinking through the process and you are the person who should be able to visualize yourself living in there. That's when you can actually do something. Because if you don't visualize, if you consider it like say, okay, this is something that I'm just building, you won't be able to think what you want. The moment you think, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to stand here, I'm going to walk around here, I'm going to sleep here, you'll start to think about the use cases that you want to do. Correct. So those are going to be helpful. Those inputs are going to be helpful and you have to do all of this as much early as possible, not in the execution.
Not in the execution.
Yeah.
That's the final key takeaway actually.
Yes.
Because people tend to do that in the execution phase, not before the execution starts.
Yes.
That's where the things starts to get messed up because in design we always try to understand what are the customer's viewpoints about the space and then design it accordingly. In this process, if we have options, whatever inspirations you might have, if you just share them across, we'll get an idea.
Definitely.
If we do it later in the point, we'll start trying to change point number 2, but point number 1 gets messed up
Yes.
in this process, and then the whole journey of execution becomes really stressful, and the final output is also not going to be good enough, right? You won't be satisfied. Right now, to be very honest, the time I came to this house, he was in a really stressful mode. He was probably the number one stressful guy in the entire planet right now because he's trying to get the finishing works done. But it is my duty, of course, to tell him what an achievement he has made in order to put in that kind of effort, put in that kind of hard work to get what you want. Because in in the very next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you'll be living in this house.
Yes.
That's when you truly start appreciating what you've built for yourself.
Absolutely.
So it's a major win for you, and it's actually a very big privilege for us to actually work with you, because clients like you actually are quite rare with the kind of viewpoints you have and the kind of maturity you already have about designing and execution. While I say that, I'd really like to know what are the probably 1 or 2 positive points of working with us, what are the few negative things which you got to know, so that we can learn and reflect again.
Yeah, so I think positives I've said enough.
Yeah.
I think overall process was really great. Again, maybe it is because we share a relation even before connecting. Maybe that also helped us a lot. And you are generally a very easygoing person as well. So that all mixed in well with me as well. So yeah, that I think has been a really grateful journey. I think some things, again, I don't have a really hard feedback points as such, but some things is you wanted to have the best outcome for every client. You always give too much space for the clients as well. You always end up saying, okay, sir, there are like another 15 options you want to try out, another 10 options you want to try out. Sometimes it puts us in the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, out of these things, how do we choose? Out of these options, how do we choose? Though you helped us with the selection, but that still, puts us in a spot where we have to make too many options at times. That also is a problem. And couple of, I think maybe 1 or 2 additional things would be maybe make more site visits.
Yes.
You can make as much as possible. I think this site is a little far from where you actually work, so because of which you actually were not able to do many, and I can get that. But I would suggest, the reason why I'm asking is, sometimes with more site visits, I think we did a lot of photo sharing, video calls and everything. But I think with visits you might get better, you might be able to help us more with execution. As I told, there are a lot many execution hard work that we ended up doing. Maybe those things would definitely help us.
Yes, that's actually really helpful insight, because we are trying to grow as a team as well. Probably because we are starting off as a new startup or whatever. We have a small team where we are located in Visakhapatnam.
This villa is
in Kadapa, Coimbatore. So it's quite a long journey for us, but it's definitely something which we need to reflect upon. We'll definitely make sure that the next time you build a house or any future customers for us, we'll ensure that the site visits are really on time and on point, so that the journey will be easier for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So all in all, it's a great time and great effort working with you. It was really fruitful, because I feel really proud that whatever design we have made, there's one actual customer who has actually followed through it, developed it, even though there were so many hardships.
Yeah.
Right? So I really appreciate your effort in this, because I feel very proud that we have designed this house and you have executed it all by yourself. It is really great working with you.
I'm really glad working with Vishwanath Architects as well, because it's not just, see, the house is something that you're only going to build once and you want it to be right. And there are many questions while making the choice, while making the designs. And throughout the period, it actually helped me, kind of making it right, making the right decisions, making the right outcomes for me. So the process is also really good, and I'm really thankful for you and your team for the whole, giving me that comfort, giving me that space while making it as well. I'm really happy.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
It's
much.
my pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is a great insight. What we have received. This is probably the first few videos. What we are trying to understand in this journey for Vishwanath Architects. We'll be connecting with you again and again with newer customers whoever we have served, and really thank you.